viewers, Rectangular back, this time with another review. Here from Marvel Select we have the Guardians of the Galaxy Drax figure made by Diamond Select. And yes, this is an exclusive. You can only get this at marvel.com or disneystore.com or at a Disney store. I called my local Disney store today and they said it's going to be a few weeks before they start seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy merchandise showing up at my particular store. I'm assuming that all the stores are probably around the same time frame. So yeah, as of right now, your best bet is to order them online. First you were only able to get them at the Marvel store, but it looks like you can get them from the Disney store now as well. Alright, let's flip this guy over and take a look at the back of the package. Real quick, I wanted to show the side of the package with some great artwork of Drax with a menacing grimace on his face. Really wish that they had given us a head like this instead of the very somber face that we got. And what's odd also is when you pan down you can see his pants, which are red. So little bit strange. You know, he does mostly in the comics he wears a blue or black pants, dark blue pants. So don't know, it seems kind of like they were trying to go with a movie look for him. So yeah, a lot of inconsistencies going on here. Here we have the back of the package with a picture of the figure with no accessories other than the base, and then it shows you all the other figures in the series with their bases combined, so it gives you an idea of what, if you buy all of the figures, all 4 figures plus Rocket, you will get the large base that will all combine together, and that's pretty much it. So let's get this guy cracked open. First, I wanted to show the base pieces that come with Drax and Groot. On the left we have the base piece that comes with Drax, which is larger, and then on the right we have the piece that comes with Groot, and it's upside down so that I can fit it into the frame or stand it up. But the way it goes is these two what's it called, root pieces come together, and then you get some tabs that some plastic tabs that just snap on to hold them in place. And fortunately they give you 3, so if you accidentally break one you got an extra, so that is quite generous of them. So snap, snap, and you've got your first part of your base assembled. So now you need the other figures from the series to complete it. Mine's not going to be complete because I am not getting Star-Lord, so there you go. And yeah, let's show the figure. Here we have Drax out of the package, and overall I'm pretty damn happy with him. I think they did a good job with the sculpt and the paint overall. A few minor blemishes here and there. I think their attempt to do some weathering just kind of fell flat in some areas, but overall it looks pretty good. Articulation is quite good, with the exception of his ab crunch, which is pretty much non-existent. Also, you know, I did complain that I wish they'd given him a more expressive look on his face than this just real bored look similar to the Marvel Legends. But yeah, he does come with 2 extra sets of hands, so he's got 2 open hands seen here. So those are nice. You know, it's when he's holding the axe, nice to be able to rest the axe into his hand there. And then he comes with 2 fists, so those are sculpted and painted well, and they peg in pretty easily, not too difficult to get out. You know, you just want to make sure you're pulling straight. and they do have a hinge on them, but they're quite stiff. I haven't broken them in yet, so be careful when you're bending those. Marvel Select plastic is notorious for being more on the brittle side, so you want to be very careful when you first breaking those in. And then he comes with his energy axe, which I think they did a good job. It is a little bit dull or fat at the tip of the blades, so overall it looks good. It's a little more pink. I think would have liked it a little bit more red than pink, but it does kind of give you some nice contrast against the red of his chest. So, and in all actuality, I think it does look pretty pink in the comics. So, I think I'm probably just being a little bit harsh. And it is a little bit flexible, soft. So I'm kind of glad that it is that way, just because of getting it in and out of his hands. I worry about breaking the hands, the fingers, the thumb on the figure. So I don't know. It might be a little bit more forgiving getting it in and out, and the paint might last a little bit longer. But let's show Drax himself, and yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of recreating, how he looks in the modern comics. Some artists have drawn lights on the gauntlets, which is kind of odd. So I'm glad they didn't go with that. The sword is pretty nicely sculpted and painted. Again, it's a thicker, broader plastic, so would have liked to have it have been a little bit more sharp, but kids do buy these as well, so overall I'm pretty happy with it. No shading, just some sculpted lines there on the blade, and it's silver paint. There's a little bit of extra silver paint there at the, God, I always forget the name of the wrist guard on swords, but yeah, I think they did a good job overall with the paint. Could use a little bit more silver there on the hilt, but it does go in. He does hold it well, but that first time getting it in, you kind of have to be gentle with it. Just don't, so that you don't tear that thumb off. But yeah, at least he holds it well. And yeah, overall the paint looks pretty good on him. Let me pan up a little bit. It's a kind of a glossy red there on his back, and then just a dull green on the rest of him. I'm seeing some paint kind of rubbing there on his lower back, and it looks kind of red there. So yeah, you're definitely gonna see that as the more and more you move the figure. And the head on mine looks like the plastic is kind of warped underneath the sculpt there, so hoping I can pop off the head, and if it is complete, if the head is complete, that I'm hoping I can just heat it up and push it back, but it might have been molded that way, so a little on the frustrating side as far as that goes. Yeah, he was kind of packaged sideways. His head was tilted sideways in the package. Hopefully you can see his eyes. A little bit hard to focus the light in there, but he's got some pretty nice detail. The red has like a teardrop there in the corner. It's probably not going to show up on camera, but they look pretty clean and symmetrical, the teardrop shapes, so I think they did a good job pulling that off, and nice bright yellow there in the eyes as well. So where the figure, well, I guess let's go over the paint and sculpt over the rest of the figure. His pants got some nice wrinkled detail there, the boots as well, very nicely sculpted lines. They do have like a hammered metal look, so I really like that. Not, I wouldn't say like a dry brush, but looks like two different colors of silver mixed together. And yeah, sculpt again looks good. A little bit sloppy here on the gauntlet, and on his belt it's a little kind of gray there instead of silver. Now let's get into the articulation. Oh, and he does have peg holes at the bottom of his feet with some nice traction, so that's cool. The head looks like just on a ball peg, and so he does cock his head nicely left and right. He can look down fairly well. Can't quite put his chin to his chest, so wish that was a little bit better. And looking up is not that great. Actually, not that bad. Yeah, I think because of the head is kind of warped in the mold, he does look up a good amount. Not the best, but pretty good. And the shoulders, here's one of the issues I have. The shoulder's not a whole lot of gap between the torso and the shoulder, so you're going to get some paint rub there from time to time. I think there in the corner I'm already experiencing it. It's not as bad as a lot of the Grim Reaper molds on the Marvel Legends, but it's yeah, a little bit of a concern as far as that goes. But does get his arm out 90 degrees, so that's good. Complete 360, of course, bicep swivel, and a single jointed elbow, but it does go 90 degrees, so I'm happy about that. There you go. And here's where the figure really fails in this articulation. He can only kind of rock back and forth a tiny bit. He can turn quite a bit. In fact, I guess you could probably flip them all the way around, but I'm not going to. And yeah, so about 45 degrees in either direction, but not really going to get him to crunch down or look back. You know, the sculpt is going to fight you looking back, I think. So that is disappointing. And then no waist swivel. So this is pretty much all you get as far as the torso. He can't go at an angle either. Now where he does excel is the leg articulation. He can do the full-on Jean-Claude Van Damme pose there with the splits, so that's pretty damn cool. But going up is not great. He can only kick that far forward. Let me put his arms down so he doesn't look quite so weird. So yeah, he can only kick that far forward, and can't really kick. He can't kick back at all. But he does have upper thigh rotation and double jointed knees, which work really well. And then the ankle works really well. He can go that far up and that far down. And then he has a great, excellent ankle rocker. Yeah, the leg is just a little bit loose, not bad. The Star-Lord reviews I've seen were terrible, but yeah, this isn't bad at all, so I'm glad about that. Oh, and the hand, yeah, like I said, it's on that hinge. You just have to be really careful with it. I'm afraid of breaking those pegs. what I would suggest is pull it out and then pose it and then pop it back in, and then of course a rotation as well. And pretty stiff, not too loose, so I'm glad about that. Arms don't really seem loose at all. They can maintain a pose well. So just a little loose there in the hip joint, but yeah, he stands quite well. He's got some nice broad feet, so I'm glad about that. Now let's get him posed with some other figures for some size comparisons. Here we have the figure next to the movie Drax and the comic book Drax from Marvel Legends, and yeah, obviously he's much larger, but he actually works pretty well for me, and I will show you why. Since we are now seeing Marvel use the movie costume on Star-Lord in the comic books, this Drax on the left is probably a little bit more accurate size-wise than the Marvel Legends. This Marvel Legend Star-Lord is pretty tall, so when you put Drax back to back with Star-Lord, there's it's a noticeable size difference, but I always think of Drax as being significantly bigger than Star-Lord, but yeah, he is pretty big. I'll have to admit, you can make it work, but I think because of the failed articulation with some of the, at least the ab crunch of this Drax, you might be better off just sticking with your Marvel Legends Drax if you're, looking for posability. Here we have the figure next to the Marvel Legends Groot on the left and the Marvel Select Groot on the right. And yeah, I think they still work well together. This Groot is probably, the Marvel Legends Groot is probably a little too small to go with this Drax, but this Marvel Select Drax goes perfect with the Marvel Select Groot. So, of course, one would expect that, but yeah, I was going to do a full review of Groot, but Robo from the Foosh already beat me to it, so definitely go check his review out. Mine has a loose, or the arms are a bit loose on mine. I think the right arm is more loose than the left arm. So definitely going to have to try to fix that with some probably some floor polish. And yeah, let's do one last shot with some Guardians figures. Here we have the Marvel Select Drax and Groot with some Marvel Legends comic book figures, and these costumes do not go together at all, but they always seem to be changing the costumes of the characters. Now, if you buy all of the Marvel Select figures from this series, then they all will go together, because technically that Star-Lord from the Marvel Select set is what he looks like in the comics, much to my chagrin. But overall, pretty good figure. The joints are a little bit more loose than I would prefer. I had some trouble trying to get him to stand once he's holding the axe, because it made him very top heavy, and yeah, so his hand didn't really want to hold up the axe all that well. So I think with these select figures you're going to have to get some super glue or some nail polish or floor polish and try to tighten up the joints, but overall not a bad figure. Alright, hopefully with that you guys liked the review, you share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and I always love hearing back from you guys, so please leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.
That's crispy.